We're going to talk about a topic that I didn't even know was a thing. You know what I'm saying? But it ties in perfectly to the last video that I did on, you know, women are the key and whatnot. I'm going to link the video in the description of this video below so you can understand what I'm saying. But I was watching a video earlier. And here's the thing. All movements, they start by somebody. Okay? And it doesn't matter what the movement is. I mean, it's up to you to basically ride that train. You know what I'm saying? And wherever the conductor takes you, which is mainly lostness, this is what the result is always going to be. But these movements are all started by somebody. Now, here's the crazy thing. When I look at a female, okay, when I look at a female and I go to the gym, and I mean, in my gym, there's a lot of fucking girls and they wear some real crazy provocative shit. I never really thought much of it. I basically I glance and I'm aware that a beautiful girl came to the gym and, you know, she's wearing certain clothes and I'm like, wow, man, she fucking looks great. However, I'm still focused at the task at hand. You see, if I go to the gym, I'm going to the gym to work out. I have a purpose for the reason I went to the gym. See, a lot of people go to the gym, but they have different reasons even to why they go to the gym. This could go into many different variables and different layers. You may go to the gym only because of insecurity. You may have been picked on as a kid. I don't know. Whatever the fuck reasons you go to the gym, I look at it as a sport. I look at it as something that I feel different. It's like an exorcism. I may have some negative energy in there. And when I go to the gym, I release these things and it's like literally like you can have an exorcism, but I'm my own priest. I'm in there and I'm having an experience. I'm exercising certain things. I'm letting out the beast to some extent, or I'm keeping it tamed and under control. This is just my way of doing things. You see, music has a very, very powerful impact on this because I'll listen to certain music and it gets me in the zone. So when I go to the gym, I'm so immersed into it that I'm in a meditative state. It's very hard to get me out of focus, including a fucking girl that may go in there looking as provocative and beautiful as it may be. See, this is where the whole, you know, concept of the Matrix, the girl in the red skirt or the red dress and the distractions that it caused. You can have a business, okay? You may have goals, aspirations, and stuff like that. And it's a journey, right? But on that journey, it requires focus. It requires focus and intent. And there's going to be obstacles that may try to deter you from reaching that goal, okay? Because you are too focused on what the obstacles are rather than the actual goal itself, right? So when I'm in the gym, and I'm only bringing up these examples so, you know, simple-minded motherfuckers can understand what I'm saying. If I'm in the gym, I'm there for a purpose. If a girl goes there, I look at her as a decoration. She's a fucking add-on. You know what I'm saying? She's a beautiful thing, and I get to enjoy looking at something while I'm working out, even potentially raise my hormone levels. Now, here's the crazy thing. If I'm training, okay, there may be girls that may be working out with certain provocative pieces of clothing, and they're in there, okay? It's up to me, right, to get distracted and get off the meditative state that I'm in. See, when I'm gardening, I've even made this in previous videos. When I'm gardening, I love to do what I'm doing. And I'm doing it, and I'm so immersed into it, I'm actually in a flow state where I even forget to eat. Just go figure with that. You get what I'm saying? I'm so immersed into my workouts, okay, that I myself dress a certain way when I go to the gym. This is how I go dressed. I go dressed like this. And you know why I go dressed like this? Because I like to see the muscles at work when I'm working out. I like to see the veins. I like to see how the pump feels. I like what I'm looking at. So it motivates me. It gets me in the zone even further because I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing the gains. And when I see the results and the gains happening, it just motivates me to keep going because it's like I'm results driven when it comes to that. You get what I'm saying? But everything that you do in life, okay, you're actually walking in a meditative state or in a hypnotic state. This is why you're not aware of what's happening because you're operating from the subconscious mind or programming, right? So when you listen to certain things, you may get attached to an idea and not even know why because you weren't thinking. How does this serve you in any kind of way? See, this is what people do. They just point the finger and start blaming things when results aren't happening. But if I'm going to the gym, I have a goal. I want to look a certain way, or I want to, do certain things at a certain period of time so that at a certain time frame, I am going to reach my goals as to how I want to look. If I'm an MMA fighter, I have a contract. I have a fight date that I have to meet. And in the journey to that, I have to stay focused, because not only am I going to have to be dialed in on my diet and my training, I also have to be dialed in and not let this motherfucker that I'm about to fight in the octagon to get in my head, because there's something called mental warfare. So all these things that you're doing out there, you're pointing and blaming fingers, and that victim mode is one of the weakest modes to be on. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people are like, oh, she's dressed a certain way. She's showing her camel toe, her asses. She's not going to the gym in a lingerie. She's going to the gym in gym wear. But the whole thing is, there's certain categories. Some gym wear are very provocative and others are not. Now, one thing that does irk me, and I never experienced this because maybe I'm not on this frequency, but one thing that does irk me, because there's a difference between attention seeking and attractive attention. See, attention seeking is when a girl's dressing a certain way and then she's looking for a guy to fucking gawk and stare at her, and then she wants to pull out her fucking phone and start recording and put him on camera, and just all for views and likes. That's a sign of insecurity from that girl's part. You get what I'm saying? And then there's the other girl who she knows that she's going to get attention, but is actually appreciative, and it may actually raise her self-esteem up, make her feel good. I don't see nothing wrong with that. See, this is the thing. When I go to the gym dressed like this. I went to Planet Fitness one time and they told me that this was not allowed in the gym. That shit fucking sucked. I didn't like that shit. I didn't like it, right? All movements are started. The mask wearing thing, but they'll create a scenario. They'll tell you that if you see a person not wearing a mask, they put that person in a category to say that person's endangering everybody else because they're not wearing a mask. And then you hear that from the media, you like a sheep go with that herd-like mentality, and now you start to point the finger and demonize that person because they're not wearing a mask. Do you see how that shit works? And you don't even do studies or read to find out if that's even true or not. Go to the definitive source of it. What is an actual virus too? See, the whole thing is, even one comment I saw in the video I was looking at, it said, that's why God clothed Adam and Eve. You see, I made videos on the Genesis creation. Now, here's the crazy thing, though. This clothing part is, you know why that happened? When the whole concept of good and evil started, when the whole concept of morality and all that humanity started, that's why you had to put clothes on. Because now the man fell to his animalistic natures. That's why they had to be clothed. You see what I'm saying? You know what your first armor of God, the clothes is your skin. Whatever's inside of you is metaphysical. You never see your heart, your organs, anything that's operating within you, yet it's got the majority of impact of what happens in your life. You see, you got energy centers. We could call them chakras if you want to go, because a lot of people say pseudoscience and whatnot, okay? Let's talk about the chakras, okay? You got different energy centers called chakras. There's the root chakra. If the root chakra is not stable, then you are basically imbalanced with the way you're going to perceive life in the sexual, lustful space instead of looking at it from a balanced perspective. But the root chakra doesn't operate alone. It has to be in coherence with all the other organs as well. You ever hear the works of Dr. Joe Dispenza? He'll talk about the heart-brain coherence, okay? But the heart is actually a gateway. Because notice that all your upper chakras are up above. The lower animalistic ones are at the bottom, like your adrenal glands, which is responsible for fight or flight. Your reproductive gland, gonads and all that, that's responsible for reproduction and sexuality and whatnot. But if everything's not balanced, you will be imbalanced. See, these things, all that I'm talking about when it comes to chakras, they're actual minds. This is why people say, oh man, I'm thinking, that guy is always thinking with his dick, like he's chasing his dick all day. Because if you're dwelling there, but you have no coherence or harmonizing with the other chakras, you're imbalanced. See, this is why people do chakra work, or they'll do shadow work to find out what imbalances they have, and then they can actually intentionally balance their chakras. Why is this important? Okay? Put it this way. Does the heart indoctrinate the kidneys on being a heart? No. Each one has to have its own individual functions, yet they depend on each other to work in harmony in one body. So if you have chakras, okay, they're connected with your organs, which are co-governed by the fucking planets. So if you want to know more about the things that you don't see inside of you, learn how to read the stars. This is why certain scenarios and things that happen in your life, they say, oh, the stars align for that person for that to happen. Certain things that may occur outside of you, nothing outside of you exists unless it exists in you first. So if you're observing the stars, it doesn't have to look like a kidney, but learn about the stars and see what planets influence what body parts in your body. And then you can start to make correlations and connections on how to be a little bit more balanced and how you're actually perceiving reality. See, you want to know why the skin was your first layer of protection here? First of all, look at how it all started. Aside from the clothing part, just the skin alone, we create separation with it. This is where we started races and all that. Blacks with whites. Oh, that person, you separate a black man from a white man because due to the color of the skin. Now we're doing it with clothing. And it just keeps going down and down and down the line. If I skinned a black man and a white man, you would never tell which one was the black man and which one was the white man. You would have to take some real deep analysis to actually be able to tell which one was the black man, which one was the white man. It won't just be at first glance. My whole point to this video is that a lot of people are worried about some real stupid bullshit outside of themselves, honestly. Like, if a girl is dressed a certain way, she can do that. She can dress however the fuck she wants, right? Your vibe will attract your tribe, and your reality, you're not going to change your life. You're not going to change life itself, okay? Because the way you, again, I made this example in the previous video. The way you see the world, you don't see the world for how it is. You see the world for how you are. So I'll give you an example. If you're triggered by a female dressing a certain way and you're a straight male, you got fucking issues. And I'm going to tell you why. This can either be trauma from childhood. All right. You had fucking horrible sexuality experiences when you were younger, or you had masturbation issues that you think you overcame, but all you did was hid it in a closet. Right. So now every time you see a girl, that lustful part of you wants to come out, but you keep suppressing it. And then you get fucked up. Because every time you see the girl, now you're pointing fingers at her, blaming her for how she's dressing, when in actuality, it's that you can't control yourself and you're demonizing that girl outside of you, and that's just a shadow aspect of yourself that you haven't worked on. So if a girl outside of you is dressed a certain... You want me to tell you why this is insecurity? There was a moment in time when I was younger, I was with my girl, okay? I've always been in shape, but I came to this realization. That's the whole thing, because everything is realized. You can't be told shit. You got to realize these things. I'm walking with a female. Okay, and I dress and I'm built as well. But there was another guy and I noticed he looked good and he was built as well. Now my competitive nature came out. I was like, oh shit, is my girl going to be looking at him? You know what I'm saying? So that was an insecurity on my part. Because why would I assume my girl's going to look at that dude? Again, this is why I said specifically in the video before, your partner is a reflection of you. If people outside of you are reflections of you and your vibe attracts your tribe, your immediate family member is a direct reflection of you. Okay? And if you are insecure or you are actually dishonest with yourself, and it doesn't have to be a direct mirror. Again, I'm raising my right hand now. And in the camera, it appears that I'm raising my left hand. Okay? So it doesn't have to be a direct reflection either. Because there's moments where you may be dishonest with yourself, you say you're going to do something and don't do it, or you actually cheat yourself of certain things in life, you actually will manifest this through your partner being dishonest with you to some extent. Because it all starts from you. People say, well, how can you love others if you don't love yourself? And this is a fact. In order for you to love others, you would have to love yourself first. So you know what it is. Okay? A lot of experiences I've had, they came down to realizations. Okay? But a lot of the things that I'm also noticing that I'm actually doing, I'm doing it because I want to do it. If I don't want to do it, I notice that certain things outside of me will distract me because certain things outside of me are actually showing me that what I'm doing is what I don't want to do. So life shows you shit, but it's not going to show you in ways that you think is going to come like English language, or it's not going to come like that. You would actually have to see the signs in alien language, in symbols, because this is how originally you got programmed. As a child, through the subconscious, because you weren't thinking the way an adult has the capacity to think. Now, let me tell you what separates you from an actual animal or a farm animal, because many of the people out here are actually farm animals. And humanity is being farmed to begin with, but we'll talk about that in another video. But if you're in your... Look at a dog. A dog will hump your fucking leg if he feels aroused. Okay? A dog, after sniffing another ass, will want to hump the dog. Okay? He's not looking at it as, oh, morality or nothing like that. He's doing what he wants to do, but he's in his lower animalistic natures. As a human, okay, you have higher faculties. Okay? Perception, you have reasoning, you have the level of intellect an animal doesn't have. That's what separates you from the rest of the animal kingdom. Okay? But you have the ability to create and shape your circumstances because you cannot change life. Life is creation. That's already done. Okay? It's already done. You can only shape your circumstances as an individual. But that would require you disconnecting from everything outside, all external stimuli. Because, see, this is the thing, though. A lot of people cannot focus. That's the problem here. If I'm going to the gym, I'm focused. I'm in a meditative state. If I'm gardening, I'm focused. I'm in a meditative state. If I have goals, I'm focused to reach that goal. There's going to be obstacles. It is up to me to entertain those obstacles or stay focused, laser focused to stay on task to get that goal. A lot of people cannot even sit with themselves in a meditation, literally sitting with themselves. For one, either they hate themselves that much or they're addicted so much to external stimuli that they cannot sit there and focus. Because this is the thing, though. Either mental activity will take over them to the point where they can't even sleep, right? And this is what ends up happening because there's a big difference between mental activity and actually genuinely, really thinking. Because thinking, again, I will make another video as to why I even said eating and thinking, all these are sacred activities. But we take them for granted. That's the whole thing. So when you are in a chaotic state and you're not balanced, okay, all these things are going to start to bombard you. And that's external stimuli. You think these thoughts are not yours. It is up to you to quiet the fucking mind and stay centered, stay balanced. There's people who can meditate in the middle of a fucking chaos. And there's people who have to be in absolute silence to have to meditate. Right? That's what's the level of strength and focus that you have. There's people who cannot meditate unless they have binaural beats. They just can't sit there in complete silence and purposely, with intent, change their brainwave states to actually balance themselves. Okay? This is where you start to know where the tensions are at, what's way more stimulated than others, what's more hypo or hyperactive as far as like energy centers go. You know what I'm saying? If your root chakra is way too sexualized, then you have the ability to shrink it, and maybe it's stealing from another energy center, and that's why you can't perceive anything other than your animalistic natures. You would have to feed energy from there to another part of your energy centers, which will energize certain chakras and certain organs in your body as well. I'll make the example, a tree. All right. If you have a garden and it's not set up like nature, you will have things like, oh, you can't plant that with that because they'll compete for nutrients or blah, 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 blah. A bunch of garbage. In nature, things are growing. But you know what the difference is? That nobody fertilizes or waters trees in nature, right? So there's something called a mycelium network underneath that feeds the tree from underneath, but this mycelium cannot live above ground. So it depends on the tree to get the energy from the sun, bring down that energy and the sugars down to the mycelium network, and in kind, the mycelium network feeds the tree from underneath. This is a symbiotic relationship. So your root chakra works in harmony with the upper chakras. But if your heart is closed, that gateway is closed, you don't have access to the other realms. It sounds like pseudoscience, but again, that's the whole thing, though. You cannot be told these things. You have to just become the scientist, the priest, and the observer to be able to do this. Have realizations. You make the experiment, okay? You experience the experiment, and then they become wisdom. Now you can talk about something rather than reading a book and just getting knowledge and pass me down info, but you never had any kind of realization toward what you actually read. You don't connect dots. You can only see a certain percent because you're not opening your mind to other people's points of view and other perspectives and perceptions. Again, I can have a lot of money. I can flaunt a lot of money, right? If I'm in the wrong side of town, I'm going to get attention. But depending on the frequency I emit and the level of vibration I'm on is going to depend if something bad happens to me or not. Or would we say favorable or unfavorable? It's up to me. So, like, I can and then there's examples that said, oh, you don't wear a cutoff t-shirt and, baggy jeans to a job interview and whatnot. You see, these are stupid examples, man. These are stupid examples because at the end of the day, you dress for the occasion. If you go to the gym, okay, you're wearing gym clothes. There'll be different categories of sexiness to just more conservative. If you go out to a business dinner, okay, there's women who would wear a sexy dress with no bra underneath that literally looks like this. And it's just covering their nipples, and they're wearing a fucking fancy dress. And there's others who may wear a turtleneck, but they're still dressed for the occasion. So making an example of a ripped up t-shirt to a business dinner no, that's a stupid example, because you still dress for the occasion. Whoever goes to the gym, they're not wearing lingerie. They're wearing gym gear. It's just a little more provocative. And if you can't control yourself, then you are basically the danger to society, not the fucking person who's dressing like that. Because if you are basically somebody who is a compulsive eater, then you shouldn't be around fucking food. If you're somebody who's a liar and likes to steal, right? People cannot be around you because you're a menace to society, or you should not be out because you'll steal from people and it's just a bad habit you have. If you cannot control your animalistic natures, then you may tend to do things that are unfavorable, like staring at girls or getting all bent out of shape, giving away your energy, when in actuality, that person's living their life while you're sitting there watching them live their life. That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with what people do out here. Let them do what the fuck they want to do. If people want to wear masks, let them wear masks. You think I'm going to go policing people and tell them, look, you're an ignorant, you're killing yourself wearing the mask? Or people who don't wear them, I'm not going to say you're killing everybody else. Again, your fear and your anxiety, if you look at the works of Dr. Bruce Lipton, okay, your fear and anxiety toward and your mental state, you will develop these symptoms within you because you don't even catch shit. You develop these things within you. You're more likely to get sick based on the mindset thinking that things outside of you are above or beyond you, rather than knowing that you're the one that's shaping your circumstances out here. So you don't put yourself in victim mode. You stay focused and accomplish your goals. If I'm trying to accomplish a goal and I'm constantly pointing fingers at people, I'm giving my power away to that person. I'm consenting to saying that that person is God and they control my life. No, they don't control my life. I have the option to just keep it moving and do what I got to do because I got something to do. If I ain't got nothing to do, then I'm just going to sit there and just observe. Right? But I'm not going to give my power away because that's like me giving money away. If I got a bank account and I got a certain amount of money in my wallet, I'm not just going to give it away to random people. That's what people do, putting attention to stupid shit that you get no return in. If you have something that you want to invest money in, that's cool. If I'm putting attention into something, I'm going to invest that attention because I know I'm getting something back in return. But it's in a reciprocal way. I'm not there having expectations. That's another video I got to make because there's also a really, really fine balance between all that kind of shit. So, I mean, if you go, that means you can't go to a beach. Because if you see a girl, you see the girls, they wear some G-string bikinis to the gym. I bet, man, what are you going to do in the fucking beach then? Huh? You wouldn't be able to handle it if you go to, you're a danger to society. So if you have a problem with the way women dress, there's a problem with you. I'm telling you. That means you don't belong in society. Until you sit in the fucking dark closet and let the fucking shadows express themselves to you so you can work through them. Okay? You have the ability to integrate, okay? Because they could be hidden gifts and talents, certain gifts that you may express to the world. Or they may be things that if they're not serving you, you let them go on their merry way. And that's a love process. You detach from these things. When you die, you detach from your body. When you break up with a girl, that's a death. I deaded that relationship. Because even death is misunderstood. So that's a death. But that death, that detaching, that letting go is still a love process. So you see the way the things are intermingled there? Love and hate. There's a really fine balance between love and hate. Because you could be in that hateful anger state. If you know how to transmute that energy, you can have it work for you. You can have it favor you. We'll talk soon. Like if you like the video.